Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we're in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Lynn Nesbitt, and I'm chairing today's panel. Joining me on the panel are Clay Purvis and Valerie Werheim. Our secretary today is Crystal Harland, and our assessor is Olena Kostarova. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I'll confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We'll hear items 4, 5, and 13 on our docket today. Mrs. Harland, please affirm the assessor's and applicant's testimony.
Yes, Madam Chair. Madam Assessor, would you please stand? Thank you. Would you please state your full name?
Olena Kostarova.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. Ms. Applicant, would you please state your full name?
Sorry, is this for me?
Yes, please.
My full name is Davlin Giselle Mosden.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good morning, Ms. Modson.
Morning.
We're going to be starting with item number 4 on our property. This is file number, or on our docket, sorry. This is file number 25-211, 75 Cathedral Avenue. So the assessor will start with her presentation, and then Ms. Mosen, you'll have the chance to ask her questions, and then it will be your turn to present your evidence after that. Okay?
Okay.
So first we'll start with the assessor's evidence, please. Thank you.
Subject roll number is 140526801000. We talking about the address 75 Cathedral Avenue. It's located in the neighborhood 305 Lexington. This is a market region, Old Kildonan and West Kildonan. We're looking at the building type, 2.5-story, single dwelling. Was built in 1909 and with some renovations which were done to the subject. We have effective year built at 1934. Living area is 1,912 square feet. It has a full basement. Basement is complete. But one full bath, one half bath. It has a central air conditioning. It has a double detached garage. See a 3-season sunroom located on the second floor. The assessed lot size is 6,037 square feet. It has the landflow influences of bus route and light traffic. And the assessed value for the 2026 was brought up at 358,000 or $187.24 per square foot. And now I will be presenting to you 4 comparables. They all located in the market region 3, which is Old Kildonan and West Kildonan, the same as the subject. All 3 neighborhoods, 2 neighborhoods are adjacent. It's Lexington and Seven Oaks. All building types 2.5-story. They all single dwellings. Year effective build range with everything what was done to them between 1932 and 1946. They all the buildings and the range between the year built was between 1909 and 1914. The living area ranged between 1,728 square feet to the larger size 1,912 square feet. They all have full basements. However, comparable 3 does not have a finished basement. They all have 1 full bath. The comparable 2 has 2 full bath and extra shower. The comparable 1, we found that it has 1 half bath with a standing shower, so that's why I made a little note. The comparable 1 and 3 do not have central air conditioning. None of the comparables have the fireplaces or attached garages. However, the comparable 1 has a single detached garage, and comparable 4, which is exactly the same as the subject, has the double detached garage. The assessed lot sizes range between 3,245 square feet to 6,037 square feet. The land influences have comp 1, light traffic, and the comparable 4, once again, it's a subject, has a bus route and light traffic. Sale prices range between 270,000 to 360,000. With the time adjustment sales prices range between 291,000 to 371,500. With the time adjustment sales price per square foot at $153.50 to $194.71. Based on my comparables, including that we know the subject was sold during the reference period, I do have a recommendation to reduce the assessment price of the subject to $293,000, which brings us to $153.24 per square foot, based on what I see. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Modson, the assessor has recommended that your assessment be reduced to $293,000. This is a reduction of over $50,000. Do you accept that recommendation that it be reduced? Yes, do you accept?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Before we close off, I'll just ask Mr. Purvis, do you have any questions on the recommendation?
No, I don't, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Werhan?
I don't, thank you.
Okay, and just for me, I would note that the recommendation is based on the sale price of the property itself back in November of 2021, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you. And you're satisfied with that, Ms. Moston?
Yes, I am.
Great, then thank you. There's no need to hear your evidence then, since you have accepted the recommendation. So thank you for your brief
Thank
appearance
you.
today. And that concludes item number 4.
Okay,
Thank you very
perfect. Thank you
much.
so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Hey, Mr. Lafreniere. You are up.
I'm up.
If you can come.
Oh, I need to move closer?
Yes, yes. You can sit at the end of the table, that's fine if you wish. Let us get ourselves organized. Okay. And before we start, we need to swear Mr. Lafreniere in.
Mr. Applicant, would you please stand? Would you please state your full name?
Michael Lafreniere.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you. Please be seated.
And thank you for coming in today. We'll start with the assessor's evidence. You'll have a chance to ask questions, as will the panel, and then it will be your turn to present your evidence, okay? All right, go ahead, Madam Assessor.
Madam Chair. The file number is 25-415. Subject roll number 140322620000. Street address 891 Aberdeen Avenue. It's located in the neighborhood of 303 Borough Central. The building type is 1-story. Building code is a single dwelling. Year built is 1913. This is a very weak condition of the subject, so the effective year built is still 1913. Living area is the tiny 435 square feet. It has crawl space, which means part basement. The basement obviously is not complete. 1 full bath. There is no central AC, there is no attached garage, but it has 1 single detached garage in a very poor condition. There is no sunroom. The land influence of the 3,000 square feet of land has a bus route and a small traffic, which is reflected by the Aberdeen Avenue itself. The roll number was assessed at 1,900, which brings the total assessed value for 2026 at $250.57. I'm presenting you 4 comparables. I will be presenting you 2 sets of comparables. One, I will look at the comparables with the building on it, even in a quite horrible condition. Some of them are boarded up, and that would be the first set of comparables. One is they all have 1 story, 1.5 story. However, they all located in the market region in a city, as the same as the subject, and all neighborhoods are adjacent to the subject. They all have the year built between range 1907 and 1914. The effective year built between 1911 and 1942. The comparable to was most renovated during the period of sale, and the living areas ranging between 451 square feet to 750 square feet. So they all small houses. They have no basement finishes. Basement type is the part basement, which is in some it's just a crawl space or a small basement. They all have only 1 full bath. There is no half bath or showers. There is no central air conditioning to any of their comparables. There is no attached garage, however, this comparable pool has detached garage, single, and a very similar poor condition as our subject. I would like to point it out that the comparable three sold as is, and at the time of sale, it was not in a livable state. The comparable one is the small livable area at 451 square foot, and it was rented out during the day period of sale. So meaning there was somebody there, however, there was no pictures to provide to compare. And I would like to point it out that I was unable to see the subject itself inside as well. And I did try to reach out to the applicant, and thank you so much. He did try his best to provide me the evidence. He was not able to get in because the were not inside to let him in as well. So I was I'm only providing you the outside pictures just to show the poor condition of the subject. And that's why I was comparing all I was using the comps to compare to the subject's state. The assessed lot sizes, I have a range between the 2,284 square feet to the largest one, it's at 3,680 square feet. They all have, the comparable one has the commercial influence, which is the apartment block, and the comparable four has the light traffic influence. The sale prices range between 53,000 to 78,500, with the square foot between $78.67 to the $117.52 per square foot. I would like to point it out, the smaller the living area, the higher the sale price per square foot, with the economy of scale. The time adjustment sale price range between 50,500 to highest one at 81,500, with the time adjustment sale price range between $75.87 to the $111.97. I provided the map with the comparables I was just describing, and you could see they all in a very close proximity. Now I would like to bring you to your attention to the vacant lands. So I did run the report on the vacant land as well, meaning that with the state of with the condition obviously of the subject, and understanding that it is at the lowest condition possible, don't want to insult the appellant, but I'm sure he knows what he bought. At least it's rentable. I decided to run the report for the vacant lands, and I'm providing you 4 comparables just to show that after all, it is a value in the land, and once the home will be removed, the value for the land increases itself. So the comparables are exactly located in the same neighbor market region in a city. And once again, providing the 3 comparables exactly in the same neighborhood of Borough Central, and the comparable 3 on the next door to it, it's William White. And the land, the assessed lot sizes range between 2,277 square feet to the largest one is 3,012 square feet. The sale price per square foot, the sale price for the lot ranges between 60,000 to 75,000, or sale price per square foot ranges between $20.34 to $31.54. With the time adjustment sale price range between $70,700 to the highest time adjustment sale price at $91,000, bringing us to the time adjustment sale price per square foot for the lot at $23.61 per square foot to the highest $39.86 per square foot. Once again, the map was attached. And to summarize, As vacant land, which represents the highest and best use, but they, meaning demolish and redevelop, that would be, priced at 76,000 for the subject. However, we understand that the subject still has the somehow functional, house, tiny house, but still functionable. And I'm proposing, as is with its condition, proposing the value of 49,000.
So you're making a verbal recommendation to reduce the assessment to 49,000.
That is correct, to the 49,000. That is correct, from 109.
Mr. Lafreniere, we have a recommendation from the assessor to reduce your assessment to $49,000 from $109,000. Do you accept that recommendation?
Politely, no.
You do not accept? Okay. All right, that's fine. We'll put that to one side. And do you have any questions then of the assessor?
Yes, I do. Let's start off with comparable number 2.
What page are you referring to?
Oh dear. So it's the residential comparison.
The residential comparisons,
Yeah.
okay.
The assessor has included a sale of January the 11th, 2021, but it sold more recently than that. It sold.
This is a question for the assessor?
Yes, my question, I guess, would be why are you using that comparable when it sold more closer to the date of April 1st, 2023?
That is the sale which you have provided, and unfortunately, I was unable to use that sale because it had few restrictions to that specific sale. Which will come to once your evidence will be presented.
Okay. Okay. The other question, I don't know if I should present or if I should ask questions.
You ask questions of what the assessor presented.
Okay.
You'll have a chance to present all your information next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a discrepancy for comparison number 1 in the square footage. It's not huge, but the realtor listed it at 481 square feet. The city has it at 451 square feet. So I want to make a note of that.
We are using the plans, it calls the blueprints as well as the field forms, which are original, and we see exactly what we're measuring exactly as per those plans.
You were able to access those plans?
Of course, that's how we're assessing everything we do, including the permits and including the additions, yes.
And so those plans are going back to
So-
1909?
The plans are going back originals, yes. I have to say that what we have, it's probably the most accurate. Except if there would be some additions built which we have not catch on or anything else which would change without the permits.
Okay, does the plan include such things as the basement type, whether it's full?
They do.
Part.
They all
three-quarter?
absolutely, it shows everything.
Okay, so the city has listed as comparison number 1 as a yes for a basement.
Mhm.
But the realtor on the sales information listed as a full basement. The city says yes to a basement, but yes doesn't really indicate anything. The city should say full, part, 3/4, half.
I agree with you, it should be maybe some changes down to our system as well, I agree with you.
Okay, and the other thing is comparison number 3, the realtor has listed that has a half bathroom. The bathrooms are not listed on the City of Winnipeg website.
We have a differences in the bathrooms, so for us, the bathrooms, for example, full bathroom would consist of the tub, the toilet and the sink. The half bathroom would consist of only the toilet and the sink. If it has a shower, it's just gonna be separated, so if they've done some changes to that, once again. It's 1.5 with this standing shower, that would be through the realtor, it's a full bath, or else it's gonna be a separate.
Yeah. On that particular listing which I've provided, that is 683 Stella, and the realtor has indicated that it's one full bath and one half bath.
Okay, we have not seen that, that's why we could not confirm on the pictures.
Okay. As far, I do have a question about the time adjust. I've noticed that on 3 of the comparables, the price has gone down. One of them has gone up, and the one that went up actually is the one that I'm disputing the time sale because of the there's a more recent sale of that property.
During the, that's correct, as we know, the market was going up, right, after the COVID. So it was during this time period when this comparable to was purchased, it was still reaching the it wasn't reaching, it was at the lower bar. And the market was continuing going up. So in order to balance all the sales and bring them towards the reference period of April 1st, 2023, the adjustment went upwards. However, everything what was bought already during the bubble periods, what we'll call them bubble periods. Not all, but at some seasons it was more bubble than the other. Those prices had to come down to the reference level.
I can't think of any other questions at this moment. Oh, actually. Everything. Okay. Oh, I think you mentioned the range was 1907. I think oh, there it is, 1907.
For the comparables too, that's correct.
Active year bill. Okay. Okay, then.
Thank you very much. Mr. Purvis, questions for the assessor?
Just seeing the 2 comps, there's as a residential and as vacant land. Is the home occupied?
Sorry, on a vacant land?
No, there's because you've done 2, you've compared it as vacant land or as an occupied. Is the home occupied or?
The subject home is occupied, the comparable one was occupied during the sale. The comparable 2 was vacant during the sale, and comparable 4 was there, I can't remember. I know that comparable 3 was not occupied, it was not in livable condition.
Okay, but is it now? It sounds from the comments, and I'll save some of these questions for the applicant as well. Sounds like maybe if there's a sale listing bathrooms, it seems it was sold.
There was no pictures to be seen. All the pictures were showing it was only up front of the house, or the back, or for example, for the comparable 4, it was the garage too. So everything was exterior only.
Okay, but the subject property is occupied.
Yes.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Werhan, questions?
Mine was just asked and answered, thank you.
Okay. So, Ms. Assessor, I did note that with respect to your recommendation, it's very consistent with the time adjusted sale prices for comp 1, 3, and 4, although it is still lower. Well, it's very similar to comp 1, actually.
Yes.
A little bit lower than comp 3 and 4. So those were the comparables that
Put the most weight on my.
you put the most weight
Yes.
on those.
Yes.
And your recommendation is that we're consistent with those properties?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And why did you not take a look at the vacant land sales as a?
To use the sale for, well, first of all, I have to consider that the building is still on it.
Okay.
So in order to clean up, if the homeowner will proceed with the future development, they still need to demolish the original building, clean up and that's at least, well, by what we see so far, provided to with the PPNZ, we have about 20,000.
Okay,
Of the cleanup, the bigger the job, that would be the max 20,000, so between 5 to 20,000.
and you see, you would see that the subject property would actually increase in value once it had no home, because you're using these time adjusted sale prices to, which would support an increased
More
assessment of about, I don't know, somewhere between 70 and 91.
Yes, you are correct.
Once there is demolished.
That is correct. So after all, we're not considering the building on it at the moment. It is still kind of at the land value, but at the local end, only because we understand the building is still on.
Okay.
Yes. But 49,000 proposed value, I do believe between non-improved and improved. Well,
All right, thank you for that.
thank you.
Councillor Lee, you're up.
I'm up.
And present your evidence, please.
Okay, I would like to say that 891, the subject property is in fact rented, it's not boarded up. And I do very much agree that it should be compared with other houses, not vacant land. If my house was boarded up and vacant, then I would have a difference of opinion. Just a note that the assessor mentioned that comparison number 3 was not lived in, it was vacant. A vacant house doesn't necessarily diminish the value. It was in fact not boarded up to my opinion. It was just a vacant house, but it wasn't boarded up, right?
On the pictures, it was showing the boarded up.
Which
That's the pictures of MLS comps.
Did you bring those pictures?
Unfortunately, we're not allowed to use MLS pictures any longer.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to say that, so for comparison number, if I follow along with the assessor, I've got 761 Redwood. Comparison number 4, I have a 680 square foot. Is it a bungalow? No, it's a 1.5 story. It sold for 58,000. And the sale date of that one was November 24th of 2022. My best information is that it's got a 3/4 basement built in 1911. It's got a high efficiency furnace, a single garage. It's a 2-bedroom house. It's got 1 bathroom. The lot is slightly smaller than the subject. I did a price adjustment based on the size. Mine is 435 square feet. This one is 680, so that's well over 50% bigger. So I did the price adjustment and I came up with 37,100. 600 Pritchard, which is comparable number 1 for the assessor. It's much closer in size to mine, although there's a discrepancy of 30 square feet. I've included it's 481 square feet. I'm going with the realtor. The realtor is a professional, and they're at there's a liability issue if they provide false information. Whenever a realtor lists a house, they usually go in there with their digital tape, not tape, measuring tape, and they check out the size of the dwelling. So it sold for 53,000 on September 23rd of 2022. It's got a full basement, built in 1909. It's got a forced air furnace. That is 33 square, the frontage is 33 feet. That is a huge advantage if you're going to rebuild versus 25 feet. So that I placed, so that is probably the second largest lot out of all the comparables. And that one's a 1-bedroom bungalow. It's got 1 bath. I did the there's a slight adjustment in the price based on the difference in size, not very much. So I put that at $47,930. If we compare the size, I also made a price adjustment. I made an adjustment of $10,000 comparing mine versus this one. Because it's got the full basement and it's because it's got a much wider lot that is much more attractive in the event that it became an infill. So that one, I feel a fair value would be $37,930. Going back to the first one, if we do the price adjustment. So, oh, yeah, so for the first one, going back to Redwood. The adjuster had mentioned to me over the phone that when you're dealing with a smaller house versus a bigger house, the price per square foot, there would be an adjustment there. So what I did is a price of $37,100. I added $3,700 to that, and then I subtracted I subtracted $7,000. And I came up with a price of $33,800. Comparing it with my property. 521 Alfred Avenue sold for $58,000. That sold September 21 of 2022. It's 748 square feet, quite a bit larger. It's got a crawl space built in 1907. I believe it's got a furnace. There's no garage. It's a 3-bedroom house. It's a bungalow. It's also got 33 foot frontage. It's got 1 bath. The price adjustment for the size of the house, comparing it to mine, is $33,729. I did an adjustment because of the fact that it's a 3-bedroom house that's much more valuable than a 1-bedroom house. And it's got 33 feet of frontage. I made a price adjustment. 33. I believe I added 3370 to adjust in the square footage. And then I reduced $8,000. So that brought me to $29,100. The last comparable is 683 Stella, sold for $59,000 in November of 2021. 750 square feet, hard basement, built in 1914. It's got a very deep lot at 140 feet long. It's the largest property of all the comparables. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 full bath, 1 half bath, with the size adjustment and the extra half a bath and the part basement and the lot size. I've adjusted the price to $29,620. So if we take all of the 4 properties, without making the adjustments for full basement, extra large, wide lot, and extra bedrooms and half a bath and all of that, I come up with a price of $38,244. That's the 4 properties divided by 4 gives me a price of $38,244. With the adjustments of the basements and the wider lots, if I divide that by 4, it gives me a price of $32,612.
Can you repeat that second number, please?
$32,612. Also, I want to make a note. I've taken the 4 comparables of the assessor, including Her sale of 521, not on 2022, but of 2021, bringing that to a square foot price of 108.96. So I've added those four prices for the four comparables, came up with 379.59 divided by 4 is $94.89 per square foot. So if I multiply that by 435 square feet, I get a price of 41,277. That is $8,000 less than the assessor's suggested price of 49,000. So again, I've got four suitable comparisons with houses on them. I do have pictures on my phone of the basement. My basement is, it's not a basement. There, the height of the basement at the lowest is about 5 feet. If you go on the other side of the beam, you might get 5.5 feet. But I've got pictures of there's some sewer repair being done. It's not livable. The only thing that's down there is the hot water tank and the electrical panel. It isn't a staircase going down, it's a hatch. So that is the worst of worst basements. All the comparables, we don't have pictures and we don't have proof, but I would assume that there is nothing that could be as bad as mine. I made no allowances for forced air furnaces. My house is baseboard heat. That is not the most popular source of heating in the city. Most of them are gas forced air furnaces. Can't really think of what else to say, but I would be happy. And again, I'm not going to say what I paid for it in 2024 because that's not allowed, but it's very comparable to what the value of the house is. I would ask that the assessed value be in the neighborhood of $38,000. That's right in the middle. With me making the adjustments for full basement, 3/4 basements, and extra wide lot, that's at 32,600. Without those adjustments, if we just go by the size of the house, I'm in at 38,000, just over. And if I use the assessor's comparable price per square foot, and that's not allowing for any adjustments, I'm at 41,000. This is the reason why I didn't want to accept the assessor's suggested value.
For that. Ms. Assessor, questions for the applicant?
Thank you, I do. Could you kindly repeat your best comparables you basing this on?
That's the same comparables as you, except
No, so your best ones you rely on.
oh.
Just repeat them again, please.
Well, the best one that I would have would be the one that is similar in size. But the only thing is it's got a full basement and it's a 33-foot lot. So I've made an adjustment of $10,000 to make it comparable with mine. And you can't get a basement for $5,000. So my adjustments were very conservative.
Okay, thank you. So with everything you have provided, you were taking information based on what the realtor was providing to you,
Correct.
and you have not seen any homes inside.
No,
Okay.
I have not. No.
No, okay, so then you're not aware of any condition of the basements? Are they crawl spaces, dugouts, or partial? Okay, and you have not mentioned any land influences either. Are you aware of any land influences on the comparables you have provided?
Land influences?
Is it any negative light traffic, large medium traffic, bus routes, commercial influences, and so on?
Well, on your sheet, it doesn't It doesn't talk about what the influences are.
Okay, no worries.
So I wouldn't know how to make an adjustment for light traffic, heavy traffic. There is no heavy traffic in this area. They're all on, the heaviest traffic would be Redwood.
That's fine, thank you. And so the comparable located 955 Silver Avenue, right?
Yes, I had submitted that as a comparable, but then I decided not to go there because it's a considerably newer building.
Right.
And I've got the 4, so I kind of went back and forth whether I should include the 5th as a comparable. But I decided because it was a 1950 home, it's a very, yes, there was a fire, but there is a lot of value in that home. But it's kind of a little bit out of, I figured I would get some challenges based on the age of the building.
Okay, fair enough. So then you have not adjusted anything on the land influences for any of the comparables based on, because you didn't know how to adjust, correct?
You mean like traffic?
Yes, the traffics and everything.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have not.
I do have a rebuttal.
Okay, we'll get to that once we're finished our questions from the panel.
Thank you.
Mr. Purvis, do you have questions for the applicant?
I think they were just answered. Yeah, I think they've been answered. I think one of my questions relates more to the rebuttal. I'm
Thank you. Ms. Verhun, questions for the applicant?
Okay, Mr. Applicant, you were using comp 1 as your best comp regarding your property. There's a difference of 12,500 from what you're asking and what that property sold for. What was your, how did you adjust for that? I just need some clarifications.
Okay, so $12,000. Can you elaborate on the question? Because I'm not following the $12,000.
Well, you said you would be happy with $38,000. And yet you're using comp 1 as your best comp, and that's sold for 50,500.
53,000 and so forth.
But
Oh, I see the time adjustment,
I did it. Yeah, I did the time adjustment. So I'm just trying to understand where the 12,500 difference would be.
Well, I'm not using only one example. I've come here with 4 examples because I think that's a better average. I didn't think that the panel would be comfortable with coming here with one example, and the assessor does not use one example. So I've used 4 examples and I've done an average.
I understand that, but when the assessor asked you which was your best comp, you said comp 1. So I just based it just for my understanding. I just wanted to know what adjustment or how you adjusted the
adjustment
price.
is the fact that comp 1 has a full basement. And it also has a 33-foot lot.
Okay.
My experience, and I haven't built an infill, but I have considered it on a 25-foot lot. And the floor plans that you have available to you are, it's like day and night building a house on an infill lot that's 25 feet long or 25 feet wide versus 33 feet wide. It's seriously like day and night in terms of the options of a floor plan that you can go with. So that, as my experience, that is more valuable than $5,000. And you can't build a basement for $5,000. So I've made an adjustment of $10,000 for those 2 things. And that is very conservative.
Okay, no further questions, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your evidence, did you bring sorry, I was looking for it quickly and I couldn't find it. The more recent sale of that one property, which page would it be on?
521 Alfred?
Yes.
Yes, I did include
And it's
that.
within the.
Yes, it is. It was sold
It's here.
on September 21st of 2022. And that one also has a 33-foot frontage. And its square feet is. Square footage, that one is 748 square feet. So over 300 square feet bigger,
And
And
what
it's
was
a
the
three-
sale price in 2022?
58,000. And it's a 3-bedroom house.
Thank you for repeating that for me.
No, no problem.
So just to confirm, this information about the interior of the houses came from the real estate listings, right? You haven't seen the actual plans or anything like that. So if there's been updates
Correct.
to the properties and no building permits were submitted for them, there would be no way, say, for the assessor
Right.
to know that. right?
Yeah, we can only rely on what the agent has included because they would be the most recent person that was in the property.
Right.
And they are licensed and have a professional, I'm not gonna dispute there's bad real estate agents and there's good ones. But yeah, we'd have to put the trust that they're being professional.
Okay, I have no additional questions. So, Ms. Assessor, you've indicated you have rebuttal evidence.
I do.
And this is, Mr. Lafreniere, this is evidence, she is challenging some of the information that you've presented.
Mhm.
So that's what we're going to do now. So
Madam
we
Ch- sorry.
need to get it first, correct?
Yes, please.
So, we do have rebuttal evidence coming. So just bear with us while we get that. I think are we gonna go offline for a minute?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to recess for 10 minutes. While we get that rebuttal evidence sent to us, okay? So people, please be back here by 10:05.
Madam Assessor, if I could ask you to leave the room, please.
So good. Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We are now at the point, the assessor has indicated she has rebuttal evidence for item number 5, which is 891 Aberdeen. So Ms. Assessor, please take us through your rebuttal.
Thank you. We have this subject at 891 Aberdeen Avenue, and what I've done, I took all the comparables the applicant provided. And obviously right away, he has stated through his presentation, which that was done before my rebuttal was done before his presentation. We can remove right away the comparable for, because the comparable for on my sheets, we'll talk about my rebuttal, my sheets. The comparable for, that's the 955 Selkirk Avenue. That was a bank foreclosure, and for sure, that's why I would not be considering this for sale, even if the applicant would have mentioned that. So now I will have only 7 comparables. Once I look through the comparables, which have been provided by the applicants, I'm taking all my, once again, I'm reviewing the pictures on MLS. I'm taking into consideration the land increases and everything. The comparable one, which is located at 761 Redwood Avenue, very similar condition. I'm not looking at how many bedrooms, I'm just looking at the size. It is very similar condition as of the subject. The pictures were only provided for outside. I'm not aware of anything, the condition of inside, so I'm talking about only the building. And I am to assume that it's maybe slightly better condition than our subject. It has a smaller lot size. The comparable to, which is located at 600 Richard Avenue, it was rented out during the sale and for $650. However, MLS specifically stated that its property is a primary at the land value. I would like to point that out. And obviously, the land value is here assessed higher, lot size is bigger at 3,487 square feet with a commercial influence. And that is the apartment that would be considered negative. And so that's another one building with a square footage of small size, 451 square foot. The comparable 3 is located at Stella, 683 Stella Avenue. Once again, the MLS stated it was boarded up, and MLS had specifically stated that it's at the land value only. The comparable 5 will eliminate the conflict for the foreclosure reasons. Comparable 5 at 521 Alfred. That's the same comparable I was using, but I was using more dated sale because this comparable, which the applicant has provided. First of all, it's fully gutted. The pictures were showing that there was no, it was just the boards, it was the nothing else, so absolutely fully gutted property. And the package it comes in a package. It says that another house right beside it will be selling as well, so people could get side by side 2 lots. For that reason, I would have not include, and that's why I did not include that specific sale for my analysis, because that would be interfering, and that's to me not a fee simple sale. The comparable 6 is located at 557 Bannerman Avenue, as is, and it did state it needs extensive repairs. So the same, it's in a very poor condition. So as our subject, only one thing, the assessed lot size is way larger, and it's located in the Inkster Faraday neighborhood. The comparable 7, located at 599 Magnus Avenue. A few things were redone, and that's why it was sold for high as well. The roof was redone, carpet redone on the 2nd floor, and the furnace. So that's why it sold for higher. The lot size is smaller than our subject, and my last comparable is located, sorry, not my last comparable, the applicant's last comparable is 802 Magnus Avenue. It's located in the same neighborhood, and once again, MLS stated it requires extensive renovations, or it says that even to the point of demolishing. So home is in a needs everything. It did say specify that it needs everything, including the heating, because at that moment nothing was working. So it has the larger lot size, but it has the commercial influences. Once again, it's an apartment because after all, it's the neighborhood which has lots of apartments located. And for that reason, it did sell during the period for 60,000 with a time adjustment sale price of 55,400. Based on everything what the applicant has provided, I did then my due diligence, giving the subject small size, take into consideration the lower quality of the small building, and plus some negative land influences such as bus route, light traffic. The value is still in the range between 47,600 to 55,400. I was even excluding the more extensive sales from this sheet. And once again, I could see that my proposed value of 49,000 is very well supported by the applicant's evidence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lafreniere, do you have questions on the information that was just presented to us?
Yes, my question is, comparison number 6 is, I don't know where 308 Inkster Priority is, so 557 Bannerman, I'm not too sure, so I would like to ask the question of it, is that a fair comparison based on location? Because I see William White, and 303 Burrows. So out of the 7 comparables, we have a lot of there's 3 William White, Burrows Central, there's a Dufferin. I'm in Burrows Central. So I would like some feedback on how there's only one in Inkster Faraday.
That is your own comparables you have provided through your evidence, so.
No, I did not. I only provided 4 comparables. You also mentioned that 802 Magnus was my comparable. It is not.
I think, may I just, yeah,
Sorry,
in your document, on page 19, the very last page, there is a listing of properties that you.
Oh, is it the sales dates?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wasn't able to black out the ones that I didn't want.
Okay, so that,
So my
that's-
presentation
that's where
today.
some of these come from.
Okay, but I didn't mention it in my presentation.
You did not. It's in your written evidence.
Okay. So I want to remove I only want to put forward the 4 comparables that I've presented here today. And Bannerman was not one of them, Magnus was not one of them, neither was comparison number 7. So that list of dates, my agent sent to me, and I picked out of the.
Right, and then you picked the 4 that you like the best. Okay, we understand that. Thank you. Do you have any more questions on the rebuttal evidence?
So the comment about comparison number 3 as being boarded up, you've seen pictures of that, and did you include that in any evidence? Because
you
you
would see it on MLS. I would like to remind that I'm the author, so I state the fact that I did go through the MLS pictures to see it. There was no MLS inside to show.
Yeah, I
It's
understand.
only outside, and it was showing the boarded up front.
So what's the time period that it was boarded up? During the time
sale
of this
period
day?
Yes, because we don't see any other pictures, so during the time period, and I would like to point it out that my time sale is slightly different because we go by the registration date. And my registration date for taking the possession of that comparable 3 is 30th November 2021.
And again, on your page 8, Mr. Lafreniere, it does show the house boarded up.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's compared. I was just gonna, okay, if you say that, then I will go with that, because I don't remember that. Okay, so then it's only questions. So I haven't had a chance to so then comparison, the one from Inkster, again.
We can remove those. Well, as I said on my final presentation, I was not taking into consideration even the homes which were slightly renovated because they sold for higher. That's why I did not present the range up to the 80,000. I presented the range up to 55,400.
So if we did a price per square footage, time sale adjusted per square footage of the what is that, 6 comparables, and we did an average, can I have a few minutes to do that?
You'll have to tell us which comparables you're using.
I'm using comparison number 1. Comparison number 1 at 82.79, comparison number 2 at 111.97, comparison number 3 at 75.87. We're not doing number 4. And we're doing comparison number 5, which is 73 plus 73.80 plus, we're not doing comparison number 6. Comparison number 7, which was not one of mine, but we can add it in there. Plus 89.19 plus, and then the comp number 8 is 78.36 equals. That comes out to 579.59. And if we divide that by, there's 6, right? If we divide by 6, that's divided by 6 equals $96.59 per square foot, multiplied by 435, comes up with a price of $42,020. So we're still lower than the assessor's suggested price. So I suggested 38, so it's a difference of $4,000. I do have one question, and I'm gonna ask it. I don't know if is the communication between me and the assessor prior to this meeting something that we can talk about?
You can talk to her about the evidence she presented. We don't know what.
Okay. So I'm just gonna, for the sake of asking it, on the phone, your best recommendation was 47,000, and here today, your best suggestion is 49. A difference of $2,000. May I ask why?
Yes, I started with 48, it's just to be, that's from the goodwill, so it's, this way we
Yeah, you
don't have to
started-
spend the time, yes.
You started with 48, and
48,
I asked.
and because you said I will be going lower, and the same thing you've done, but we're saying that you will be asking for 40, so, however, as I said, if I'm already doing, I said that I will be going with the full representation. So that was just from the good gestures, with the goodwill, I wasn't for. Just
Okay,
what sounds-
yeah, true enough.
Two sound.
Okay.
Okay, any additional questions?
Thanks, you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Verhun, questions on the rebuttal evidence?
I do not, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Purvis, questions on the rebuttal evidence?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have no questions either. So that will conclude item number 5. I'd like to thank you very much for coming. It's not often we see people in person, and you've clearly done a lot of work. We appreciate that. And thank you, Ms. Assessor. Thank you for your presentation on this property. Okay.
So the decision is coming registered
It will
mail?
come by registry. Yes, it will.
It has to?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but has to be what it has to be, right? Extra taxpayers dollars?
Make sure you get it that way, right? Make sure you get it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, what's the timeline that it can be expected?
Couple weeks.
Yes.
Just a curiosity thing, are these public?
Yes,
A person can sit in on somebody else's?
yes.
But I won't. Is the next person,
Waiting in the online.
oh, online?
Yeah.
Okay. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, you too.
You too, bye-bye.
Thank you for coming again. Might have to update my meter, but we'll see. Okay, do we have Mr. Neufeld?
Yes, I just admitted you.
Sure. Mr. Neufeld, are you there?
Mr. Neufeld, can you hear us? Here he comes.
Hi. There you are.
Oh, William.
How are you today?
Okay,
And-
so I just was on mute there.
Okay. Before we begin, we will swear you in, Mr. Neufeld.
Okay,
Mr. Neufeld, would you please state your full name?
Rocky Neufeld.
Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're now dealing with item 13. This is file 25-185, 928 Palmerston Avenue. Ms. Assessor, when you're ready, please, you may begin with your presentation.
Thank you. Subject phone number 1208210700. Street address is 928 Palmerston Avenue, located in the neighborhood of 113 Woodley. That's in Market Region 7, Tuxedo River Heights. The building type is 2.5 story. It's a single dwelling. Year built is 1937, with the effective year built in 1967. The home went through the renovations. Living area is 2,968 square feet. It has the full finished basement. It has 1 full bath, 4 half baths, and 3 showers. Central air conditioning, 1 fireplace, 1 single attached garage. The assessed lot size is 7,800 square feet, and it's adjacent to the Assiniboia. The assessed value for the 2026 is 1,070,000, which brings us to the total per square foot at $360.51 per square foot. I'm presenting you 3 comparables, which are located in the same neighborhood area of Woodley, Tuxedo River Heights. They are all 2-story homes. It's harder to find 2.5 stories. The building code is once again single dwelling. The year built range between 1922 and 1931. The effective year built is between 1942 and 1981. The comparable two went through the extensive renovations. Living area range between 2,100 to 2,556 square feet. The comp 3 has the full part area of the basement, but they all finished basements. The comparable 1 has the old look of the basement, the comparable 2 been renovated, and comparable 3 is the regular basement. The full bath range between 1 and 2. The comparable 2 has the 2 full bath. The comparable 2 still has 3 half bathrooms and 3 standing showers. So the comparable 1 and 3 have only 2 half bath with 2 standing showers. The comparable 1 and 2 do not have the central AC. The comparable 3 only has, so is our subject. The fireplace is only gonna comparable 1 has, and the attached single garage only for the comparable 1. However, the comparable 2 has the detached single garage. The assessed lot sizes range between 5,500 to 8,373 square foot. They all adjacent to the Assiniboine, and the sale prices range between 650,000 to 825,000. Or per square foot, it would be $320.81 to $403.62, with a time adjustment sale price between 716,000 and 873,700. With the time adjustment sale price at $336.54 to $427.45. You could see the map presented to you on the second page, and that is the all 3 comparables, and they are in a very close proximity. I would like to point it out, that's on page 3, that I did all this assessment or the value assessing based on my best abilities. I did ask for the to maybe have the scheduled some kind of inspection. However, I was never got a reply back. And I would like that just to be noted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, questions for the assessor?
Yes, I do. In terms of an inspection, how would you best explain what the assessment department's idea of an inspection is?
I would like to see inside, obviously, of the building, just to understand the intensity of the renovations.
Okay, and during your inspection, do you do invasive procedures like opening up walls?
The MLS listing doesn't do it either, so no, I don't. I just.
Okay,
see
no,
what the conditions are.
I just want to clarify that. Thank you. And you mentioned renovations. What do you know the scope of what you call renovations? Or when?
I do.
When did they occur?
That would be between 2019 and 2022.
Okay, and 2019 and sorry, give me 1 second. I just wanted to open up the permits on this. And were you also referring to the permits when you researched?
Absolutely, I did, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So sorry, I had them listed here and I know you didn't, but let me just open them up. They're in my evidence.
This is a question, Mr. Neufeld?
I'm getting there. I just wanted to have it in front of me while I was asking it. And if the board, I had a listing of these permits on my evidence, and I'm not. Here we go on my page, page 1. You said, yeah, 2019 and 20. Are we discussing these permits for repair of fire and water damage?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so the assessment department calls these upgrades then, rather than repairs?
Looking into, yes, correct. Looking into the evidence of the permits, and opening every single one of them, what is entails into it. Yes, I do, and I have this in by the presentation.
Okay, but my question was, you're not calling these repairs, you're calling these upgrades?
They are everything was fully redone in this building.
Correct. I'm not questioning the word redone. I'm questioning you made the terminology of upgrades.
Well,
And
renovations are still renovations, so if you got it both.
But aren't these all listed as repairs?
They could be listed as repairs as of just stated on the permit. However, once you go in deeper, the list is quite extensive to call them repairs. It's the renovations.
Are you familiar with the repair of fire and water damaged properties?
I do. It could be just a gentle, but I cannot justify the small repair costing 250,000.
Oh, okay. I'm not out to do anything other than just get the scope of what the assessment department considers here. And do you get training in the repair from fire and water damage in your job?
I think we're not discussing my job position, we're discussing this as part of the assessment. It does belong to the assessment, and once I'm reviewing the permits, I do have the ability to obviously put the weight to it.
Right, but my question was, is there any formal training given to assessors on?
Yes, it does. We have, I have to remind that I'm completing the diploma. I'm on the last course. Yes, we do have the courses which were training us with the explanation of building materials.
In regard to, I'm talking about in regard to fire and water damage.
Well, building materials is part of all the building construction, so it's covering everything.
No, you know what? We both had to take the same course, and I have that book here. It's called The Commercial Property Analysis. The one I'm referring to is.
That's not commercial property. I'm talking about the building structure,
yes,
residential.
It's the same.
No, it's not the same as.
But no,
I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Neufeld, we're getting off track.
No, I just I just wanted to see if they had any training and I think we're going in a different direction
And yes, I do.
in detrimental conditions. In regard to your comparables, I note that all of these are older, some being 2 years prior to the reference period, all of them from 2021, is that correct?
No, the comparable to is the 1931. That's the more newer. It's only 6 years older than the subject.
No, the sale date.
The sale date, the January 2021, that would be the comparable 3.
So these are generally 2 years prior to the reference period, correct?
We allowed to know it's incorrect. We're allowed to go further if we're looking for as long as we're not passing the reference period of April 1st, 2023. However, we're allowed to go, there is no limit, as long as we correctly.
I was just looking to confirm that
adjustment.
they're older, correct?
They older, but they within the correct, within the reference, yes.
And in order to apply them, you've put in an adjustment factor, correct?
Correct.
And how was this adjustment factor derived? Do you know the method the city uses?
Yes, statistics sales, yes, statistics analysis based on sale market evidence.
On sales, and are these sales reviewed to determine what caused the increase?
The market is driving the increases, so obviously the demand and supply.
Well, I'll get into this. I'll get into the specifics later, but so you're saying that it was a market-based reason for the adjustment factor?
Of course.
Okay. And how was the year built adjusted upwards by 30 years? What changes were noted on the property that would have indicated it was the very large change in effective age?
Extensive renovations. The comparable to and subject owned or where of the comparable to was owned prior to the sale by the same company. They've done the full renovation, extensive renovations.
Subject. I'm asking subject. Number subject.
Subject and the comparable to, yes. So
subject. What was changed on the subject to change the date?
Interior renovations, addition, everything what was done to the property during that time reflects the effective age. So it's not any longer depreciated building. It's the value is obviously of that being bumped up, and now effective age is higher.
Was the foundation changed?
The basement was completed.
Was the foundation changed?
No, foundation was not changed.
Was the framing changed?
In some places, yes, it is.
Where was the framing changed? I'm talking
above
about
the window for the up front of the window on the second floor.
the
And
windows.
that's the bearing beam was removed. The walls were open. We can come to that later.
Okay. And so in what section of the house was this?
That's the 2-story and actually both floors.
Was the envelope changed?
The envelope was not changed. It was exterior was the extensive changes into inside. That's why it reflects.
Okay,
only.
Sorry, there are 5 basic portions of any property. I'm just asking on those. I'll get to them. Was the mechanical changed?
What do you mean by mechanical? Is that the plumbing, electrical? Absolutely.
Everything mechanically, plumbing, heating, electrical?
Yes, it was. That's why the permits were pulled for it.
Did they get a new sewer line?
Yes, they did, because the satellites were included in the list of everything what I will attach.
Sorry, I just asked about a sewer line. I'm talking
Oh,
about.
sewer line. I saw solar lights. I don't know why. I apologize. I misunderstood.
Okay.
I apologize. I heard solar lights.
So I take
I'm
it
not
that,
sure about sewer line. Sorry, that
okay.
part.
And was the heating and cooling system changed?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay. And we're not going to dispute that some of the finish was changed, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Um, in regard to your comparables, you mentioned you were talking about number 2, I believe, and that was 932 Palmerston. You mentioned that there were changes done on this house as well. Were these changes done before or after the house was sold?
That was before the house was sold, because it
And
was owned by the same company as the subject.
now, and that is the sale that you have listed at. Sorry, I thought I had it from 932 Palmerston at 825,000. Correct?
Yes, you are correct. The effective age is higher only because we were able to see what kind of extensive renovations were done for that property.
Now, in 2018, before the renovations, would the renovations been occurred after 2018? I'm sorry, I'm out of order.
To be honest, at the moment, I don't know.
Okay.
On the subject and its sales, the comparable sales.
Well, here my question is: in 2018, the same house sold for 450,000 without renovations. Do you not think that the increase that you're showing is due to renovations rather than the market?
Well, but the market is what people are buying for based on renovations. That's why it was sold before for 400, non-renovated, so the value of renovations are definitely increasing the sale of the property. For that
Right,
reason,
and
people are willing to pay 825,000.
that was my question on increases, and whether I asked earlier whether it was market or something else. Would not these changes, which I'll discuss in rebuttal, not have been a major impact on the sale price rather than the market?
The sale price reflects the condition of the units, so yes.
Okay. Now sorry, the same question on number, what's this one here? 1062 Palmerston. Prior to renovation, was this house did this house undergo major changes?
It did go some changes too. I cannot call them major. It was renovations done to the kitchen with the laminated countertops.
Oh.
Bathroom is in average conditions, however, some of them were redone. Flooring wasn't redone in some bathrooms at all. And the significant issue with that comparable 3 is the path to reach the synagogue. It was very uneven. So it did specify that walk on your own risk, at your own risk.
And the same question for 1326 Wolseley. Did not this sale occur immediately after the owner made renovations? You'll see it in rebuttal, but it looks to me like about $80,000 in renovations, or maybe more.
He did say it was during the years, however, the look of I don't know when the renovations were complete. I do believe it did say it was put during the years as well. It's a remodeled home, but kept a lot of old character. The roof was obviously redone, the bathroom was redone, electrical was redone. Furnace, installation and kitchen were redone. Yes, they were redone, and that's why it was sold for 820,000.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Werhan, do you have any questions for the assessor?
I do not at this time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Purvis.
I don't have any questions at this time, thank you.
Okay, thank you. This my question did relate to the fact that all of your comps, and they are on Palmerston or close, very close by, two of them on Palmerston, they're much lower in value than than our subject. Much
Yes, you are
lower, much
correct.
lower. I
It's,
shouldn't say much, they're a couple $100,000 lower.
sorry,
Yeah, so this one's coming in at 1 million.
Mhm.
What about this property is so different from the other ones that its value is that much higher?
size of the land and size of the living area,
So I
including
can,
the single. garage.
okay, I can see the land for two of them,
Mhm,
not for the one on Wolseley.
mhm.
Um,
The Worsley is not, doesn't have as significant, renovations as the extensive renovations as such does.
okay,
So the quality would be way higher.
okay, so it relates to the size of the land.
As well as.
Renovations, not as renovated, not as updated.
Yes, and the full basement, unfortunately, the basement wasn't even touched, so it looked old.
The basement in
For the-
Wolseley,
Yes, correct.
and the basement in our subject is completely renovated.
Unfortunately, I cannot tell you what quality of renovations, but based on my list, yes, it went through the significant renovations, not just the water damage.
Okay. Okay. Right, thank you for that. Mr. Neufeld, your presentation.
Thank you. I'm going to give you a little brief intro because it's more about a career protection statement I have to make. I'm an accredited appraiser, I hold a designation, and this house was damaged by fire and water and then repaired. I am required to do an appraisal on this under a condition called detrimental conditions. And I can't merely do a normal appraisal and pass it off on anyone. Otherwise, I'd be in violation of standards. And I wasn't aware of this when I took this job on, and I didn't allocate the time. So I asked my team to put together this. Now, under my standards, I am allowed to make verbal commentary on what we call detrimental conditions. I just wanted to outline it for you that the direction I have to take because of my designation. And having said that, I have just spent, I just closed up a very, very lengthy court case on a very similar damage problem. And I think it went 9 years and was just settled in February in what we call detrimental conditions, and that's damage. I have done a fair amount of these, and they're outside of tax appeal. The idea is that when a house gets damaged, it's a different story than if it was upgraded, because there's actually damage and you're not upgrading it, you're repairing it. And what happens is, I asked the question about invasive review. When we do a property of any sort that's been damaged, we do what's called invasive review. We open up walls. I'm there. We have an engineer there, often a lawyer there, contractors, and the idea is to look for certainty of the degree of damage and the repair methodology to be used, make sure we follow the right path and everyone is transparent. And so when we get to tax appeal, the issue with how much time are we going to spend on this is we're at odds with that, because we want to do a hearing in 20 minutes when I told you the last one I did took 9 years. But so I'm trying very hard to condense this all to you. We have 3 factors that are always looked at when you have a damaged house. Number 1, fixing it. Simple. Number 2 is, after it's fixed, monitor it so that see if the problem has gone away. And the last one, well, the long term is detrimental market reaction to detrimental conditions, or you can call it stigma. And that's one of the big things that we have to be very careful about, because the market right now in most parts of Canada, if you have a house that's been damaged and you put it up for sale, you got to report it. You got to let the purchaser know. Now, there's no hiding it on this one. You see page 1, fire and water damage. So it's out in the open. So it's going to put an impact on the value, and that value is going to differ. The differential is going to differ based on the market. When the market is hot for sellers, it's tighter. It's called the elasticity. When the market is hot for buyers, it's a huge gap, but it's a downward impact on value. And that's what all the court cases I've been involved with ended up dealing with. And that this isn't something that's foreign to our business. It's more rare. There are not a lot of appraisers practicing this. I believe I've done probably quite a fair amount of this sort of thing. So what we try to the methodology would be to look at previous examples of damaged properties and to see what the diminution of value was on a similar property. Now, years ago, we actually used the grow-up houses when they published them, and we would compare a grow-up house versus, say, a house in the neighborhood that was similar, and what was the sale differential. Today, we don't have the grow-up registry, and we also have a real lack of data on how the impact works. So it's true that a lot more of it is subjective, and that it is an impact on value. There's no, I guess what I'm getting at here, bottom line is, there's a big difference between an upgrade and a repair. An upgrade is because you want a better house. Repair is because you got to fix the house. And whatever they had in 1937 to build the house is no longer available. So of course you're going to have a more modern element that you have to repair a house with. Even the last one I did, which was built in 2003 and damaged in 2016, had to be repaired with a totally different insulation and sheathing system than what was done at the time, because building code had changed and materials had changed, and you couldn't get what was done before. It wasn't able to get anymore. So this isn't, I'm tired of the drapes, I'm tired of the rugs and the cabinets, I want new ones. This is, I had a fire and I got water spilled everywhere. I got to fix it. And now I have to worry about the greatest enemy of any house is water. That is what damages every house. The weird, strange coincidence, first house I ever did in my career was somebody with an indoor pool. And their ceiling fell in because of mold and the rot. And teaches you the valuable lesson of moisture being our greatest enemy. And so we have to be extremely careful on this. And no, I did not call in an expert because I just got this thrown on me in the last minute, and I've asked for expert reports because I would prefer to have them. I can only give you the overview on this. So moving to the valuation itself, which we did, you'll note a couple of things. We don't use old sales because the concept of adjustment is, well, in our business, we have a very nice phrase for it. It's called the foot wedge. It's a golf term. You know, you're too close enough to the hole, you can kick it in. The adjustments are not reliable. Give you some background on adjustments. Land titles for a transfer where you have a close relation, a non-arm's length deal, they won't take comps that are older than 3 months. Banks won't take comps older than 6 months. They do not like adjustments because it is an artificial construct. And informally, I can tell you that I see a lot of people in our business applying them when they need to push value because it's gonna go higher, but it's not the correct way to do it. So our oldest was from mid 2022, and our newest was from March of 23. And that's what we refrained on. We were looking for the north side of the Assiniboine River between Osborne and the St. James Bridge. We had to go that wide because there weren't a lot of sales. So there's a couple in Eastgate and excuse me, one on Palmerston and then actually it was Eastgate that came up with the major comps, and they're bigger houses and different. And you can see the summary is on page 1, and it just has the sizes and the rate per square foot, the sizes, and the land areas. And on page 1 is also the permits. You can clearly, well, you can actually clearly see it, but the top item, house rebuild, plumbing house rebuild. The second one, replace something building, remove and replace damaged devices to code, replace damaged devices to code 1, insurance water damage. The third entry is repairs for water damage to the basement. And then the older permits, then there was another one for, additional wiring at the same time. And then there was an addition done in 2019, a breezeway and a detached garage. That would be an upgrade. And then in 2003, there was another building addition, and I don't know anything about it, but that was quite some time ago. But the what we are talking about is the same thing, fire and water damage. Now a summary of the comps is a range of the low end is $200 a foot, the high end is $360 a foot, and right without considering the issues I brought to you earlier, that our office had just penciled in the midpoint of $300 a foot, because there are some that sell for more, there's some that sell for less. These buildings are unique. They're 80 years old, so we object quite strenuously to anybody saying that there's a change in the effective age. And a change in the effective age, the precise thing you have to do is don't do effective age, do remaining economic life. How many years does it have left? That's what we generally do, but it's sort of close to it's related. The sales we had were 39 Eastgate, which was of course larger and has a real distinct image. And it's a bit older, but it is hard to say. In many ways, it's a better community. 912 Palmerston is also in our list at 632,000, and this particular property on our page, they're not marked, page 6, has had quite an active history. And you'll notice that it had a massive jump between 1997 and 2022. That would probably be attributed to the comments about being upgraded on here. We've given you the realtor's comments about upgrades, and that's typical what you'd expect. 135 Eastgate, a little bit more like our subject property, except it's got a larger lot. And a read of the remarks shows really not a lot of upgrades. I think the higher value was indicated by the lot, and again. And then there was 912. Oh, sorry, I was out there. Then there's 5 Eastgate, which was just a listing. And sorry, I have a slight vision problem here. That's why I'm a bit slow. This one was listed for sale in June of 2022, and it's I guess just been a hard sell. for something like this. But this one has things like a wine cellar. Regardless of all that, I think that this is not a typical valuation, and an attempt to put in a number should be, we should be taking these comps and then adjusting them with known examples of comparing impacted sites versus non-impacted sites. Privacy Act has given us a lot more difficulty in tracking down this information, but that's where we're going with that. And so other than that, I had some rebuttal information.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Assessor, questions for Mr. Neufeld?
I do, thank you. So in your comparables, you have you're providing the comparables. Can you explain why you're going to the Armstrong Point?
I said that earlier. I was staying on the north side of the Assiniboine River between Osborne and St. James.
However, the Armstrong Point itself, it's Worsley is right beside it. So what can you tell me about the Armstrong Point?
Armstrong Point, are you referring, I'm not good with those neighborhoods. Is that where Eastgate and Westgate is?
You, okay, I will rephrase. So on your comparables, you're pointing out that we could tell that Armstrong Point has larger lots. Do you know why? Versus two comparable you provided on Worsley.
Okay, sorry, let me clarify that. Okay, Eastgate, Armstrong's Point, yeah. Yeah, they tend to be, it's older, and it was built at a time when larger lots, it was a premium neighborhood 100 years ago. I think in our mind, when we looked at this, is we always put ourselves in the mind of a potential purchaser. If I'm looking for an older house on the river, and I'm okay with the north side of the Assiniboine, then this would be an area to look at. Now, if you wanted to go outside those market influences, you could continue to go west to the near Deer Lodge area. I think Bruce Street in that area. There, the prices tend to start dropping, and then a further segment is down on Assiniboine, and the prices there are varied, some high, some low. It's a newer development. I believe that the neighborhood we selected had a lot of homogenous issues, and mostly from a purchaser's thing. The location is, if you consider Winnipeg that your destination is the Central Business District, they all offer a similar distance from the Central Business District. So I think they would be of interest to people in the same socioeconomic class, the same pool of buyers. And if there were a more depressed area, I guess it would have to have been, a lot of the stuff between, not depressed, but it's gentrifying now. The area between Sherbrooke and maybe as far as wherever Wall Street hooks up, there were a lot of rental properties in the area, and they've slowly been, we call it gentrified to owner occupants. But it has kept property values lower than, say, Eastgate, Westgate. My opinion is Eastgate and Westgate could command a higher price because they have a closed neighborhood with a similar product in it. But there's always more concerns about I think crime issues there. Anyway, I'm rambling, but I think I'm content with what we did.
Okay, thank you. And you could, so you have provided the buildings for the 39 Eastgate, but the year is way older. The building is way older.
Well,
and so is the 5 Eastgate. Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, first of all, the concept of being older is like, once you go past a certain age of a house, you have the same set of problems. And if you think about construction and building concepts, we have pre-World War II, post-World War II, the 60s, 50s and 60s saw a change, and then building code. Every time you have a new building code, the last one put in place was 2007, you will see difference in styles. So pre-World War II, I think, is a fair call. And what we're looking for is basements. Now, most running water and sewer began being installed in Winnipeg. I'm thinking it's late 19th, early 20th century. We're looking to see if the building was part of that, or was it adapted? And then in 1912, there was another bylaw change on fire protection, which was a major impact on building, but it was only for multifamily properties. And then in World War II, we always pick as a point because it was material. Steel wasn't available as much, more wood, but concrete was moving in. And if you notice the comment on 39 Eastgate, I just read this now, that they have one fireplace designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, which is an automatic bump in your value. So I think this one sold for more than it would have if it had been located elsewhere without those unique design features.
So won't you say that the older building has more issues? Won't you say that our subject for the with the constructions would be more superior?
No, I mean, the issues that they all face were, we had changes in the heating design. A lot of these were designed with coal heating. By the 50s, that was all gone, and mostly replaced by some replaced by oil, some with natural gas, but the whole delivery system changed. Electrical, the old wiring systems, virtually all have been changed. You won't see knob and tube anymore. And then lastly, the other change they all faced, and this was until I think the 60s, was the use of lead in water systems. Until I don't remember the exact date, I believe it's the 1960s, it was still being used an awful lot. Actually, no, I was soldering in the 70s with lead-based solder. So, those are the changes that we have to consider in terms of houses. So that's why I'm saying, predating World War II, you got the same problems in every one. And framing was actually better in 1910, 1900s, because wood was easier. Good wood was easier to get. The great cedar forests in BC, where everybody got great building lumber from, actually timber, not lumber, and at a very good price. And then as it got scarcer, then you start to see the introduction of plywoods and press boards, and that was a downgrade in quality. Like, these timber frame ones will last for hundreds of years compared to a plywood. So I don't know. I mean, these things are old, and anything predating the 50s is going to have the same workload pretty much regardless. I've been in some houses from the 1880s in Winnipeg, and I find that their framing was a little bit weaker than the ones built in the 20th century. Sorry, I didn't mean to give a history lesson, but you asked for it.
Actually, interesting. I'm sorry, it's interesting. Thank you. So we'll continue with the history lesson. The comparable one on the 39 Eastgate. You have stated the fact that it has the beautiful old ancient fireplace. Are you aware of the 39 Eastgate to be a historical site?
I haven't looked it up. This is though a rather automatic that the Frank Lloyd Wright uh, impact is the funny thing about Frank Lloyd Wright is that he's recognized as this great architectural groundbreaker, but if you have a farmhouse built in Manitoba in the 1800s, you'd laugh at him because he says stuff like you should put shades on the south side to keep the natural sun when it's low into your house, and when it's high in the summer shaded. Wow. And put tree breaks on the north. We never, but like a lot of people thought this is great stuff, but you live in the prairies, he's just stating common sense generally. And but in the big cities in the United States, they had moved away from it, especially when the modern iron framing came in the 1870s. But he brought back style, though.
So then, okay.
I don't know any other architects' names. See.
And I do see on your sheet number 9, the 5 east gates. It does not say sold, it does not say sale. Can you please elaborate a little bit more about the actually sale date on that?
Yeah, it's an asking price. It did not transact. And on the following page, there's the history of it. You'll note that now when I put in my search, I stop it on April 1st, 2023. So on the last page, there is a status that had a sale price post reference. Now, I'm not bringing that up because it is post reference, but it was listed for 1,550,000. And there was a post-reference transaction on it, which it's obviously there, and you can read what the number is, but it's not being introduced as evidence.
Unfortunately, that is your evidence of the 5.
No, and I
is
apologize.
that would be considered?
I just saw that when you pointed it out. I would have blocked it out.
All right, so we're not considering that. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. We can't look at that. It's the only thing I can comment on it is that sometimes houses sell below list, sometimes above list, and this you see what happened here. That I can comment. That's all I can say, and my error here.
Okay, thank you for that. So on page 6 again, you stipulated that we could see the significant jumps between the prices. And that is probably due to the renovations and anything. So would you would you say that after all, renovations do play a huge role in the market, because after all, this is what it's sold for?
Well, the common error, and this is something that actually the real estate board does as well, is they just take the value and they don't consider an average value, and they don't consider whether a property was renovated that did the increase, and they also mix in new build with existing stock. So the appropriate valuation way to do it is to do a paired sales analysis. And it's not difficult, it's time consuming, but what you do is you take one house, and an example of the proper way to do it. First of all, a poor example is the one on page 6, because there's a huge bump, so you know that there's a problem there. But if you take a look at the sales between 1995 and 1997, they are going up and down. And so that's there are 4 sales in there. So you would do a paired sales analysis of the 4 sales on time. Take a look at the listing, see if there's anything in there that says work was done on it. If it's clean of any involvement of work, then we have a market-based trend. And incidentally, that is a pretty honest trend, because that was 1997 was a downer year, and it shows it here how it drops from 149 to 118, at least on the list, but the sales were sales pending. Actually, there were no sales. I probably wouldn't even use that because there's got to have a
Yes, you are
transaction.
correct.
Yeah, you need a transaction. On page 4, we have the 39 Eastgate, and we have 3 sale prices: 930, 930, and 1.2. And so the interesting thing is between 14 and 20, a 6-year spread, there was absolutely no increase in value. I find that rather interesting because that was the time in the city when everybody else was going up. So this indicates a neighborhood issue or a product issue, maybe a replacement going for newer builds versus existing older stock. And then if with the bump from 2020 to 2023, then I go back and I read the remarks just to see if there's anything said about recent work. And it says recent improvements include roofing, shakes, windows, landscaping, basement, and master suite. So those are relatively minor issues. But you could you try to factor those in and just say minor work done on it for upgrades. A paired sales analysis is a lot of work, and then the other thing you have to do with it is talk to the owners or the brokers on it to work it out. Which usually if we usually we have fairly good contacts in the residential world, and they'll be able to discuss it with you, and that's the proper way to do it. I think everything else, like just looking at market reports, is extremely misleading.
Okay,
You could look at your own house, for example. That's a great example of because you know it, right? And you know what you put into it, and work it out.
thank you. And my last question would be, so what exactly do you know about the renovations which were done for this property? Was this gutted to the studs? The insulation was put in? Any dry walls were replaced? Did you know anything about how intensive were renovations?
This is for the subject property?
Yes, you are correct.
Oh, yeah. Verbally, I've been provided it was all repairs, and obviously replacing with materials that were not the same as were originally installed because they weren't available. I asked for a contractor's report, an engineer's report, and some pictures on it of the prior for the damage. I only have the word of the owner. However, he's a knowledgeable owner in that he is in the interior construction business. So I found him knowledgeable.
Okay. Thank you for that. I have a rebuttal afterwards.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
and no further questions for Mr.
No
New-
other questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Purvis, do you have questions for Mr. Neufeld?
I just have one. The properties on Eastgate, they're all on the river as well, or?
I think all of these are on the river, yes. One of the, just look for, show you where you see that in the comments, site influences, and they would say riverfront on all of them, and they should, the comps anyway. I'm just looking them over, riverfront. And number 3, site influences riverfront, yes. And then the subject, of course, is riverfront.
Okay, that's my only questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Werhan,
I do not, thank you.
thank you very much. And I think I'll leave my questions until we're dealing with rebuttal. So Mr. Newfound, you are up first on rebuttal. Do
Oh,
we
oh.
have the rebuttal?
Yes,
Yeah,
I put the rebuttal in the panel members who are participating in Zoom in their OneDrive, and I put your copy of the rebuttal, Madam Chair, in your
Okay,
panel. I've sent the the applicant and the assessor the opposites rebuttal.
so everybody has everybody's rebuttal right now. Okay.
okay, so you would have three separate files, or were they combined?
Three separate. Are you talking about the assessor's rebuttal?
Oh, no, but the one I
I'm
filed?
showing two rebuttal documents from.
Your
Mr.
rebuttal says rebuttal 1 for 932 Palmerston. 932, yeah, 3 rebuttals.
Okay, you said you were doing mine first or the assessors first?
Your rebuttal is first.
Okay, good. So I don't know what order I'm going to do this in, but I'll start with 932 Palmerston, and these are the assessors comparables, and I just ran MLS on them just for their history. So some of the stuff is you'll see there's a post reference in there, but I'm actually going to be referring to it for not value.
We cannot
No,
look at
no,
this
it's
reference
not.
information.
No, it's not for value. It's for something entirely different. And I think it's within the rules, but when I get to that, I'll show it to you.
Okay, so we're not really sure which, they're all in our files labeled.
Okay,
932 Palmerston, rebuttal 1, 2,
932.
and 3.
Okay, so 932 Palmerston is this is just the history on it, and I had mentioned questioning about the renovations were impacting the price of it, and you can see under the public remarks that it says that extensive professional renovations 2018, 2019, and then it goes on to list them. So this was, and you can tell this is also a fixer-upper because it's owned by a numbered company. And so it was obviously I'd look at it and say some sort of a flipper. I already mentioned in the remarks earlier that it sold for $450 1 year prior and then $825 thereafter. So this is the misleading part about doing adjustments, calling the market. In this case, it's obviously improvements in the site and not fire damage improvements. And then the listing of the prior listing is included in there, and you can see the picture difference. That's very simple. The next one, 1062 Palmerston. So I'd asked about the changes on this. Now, this is not post-reference data, but when in our work, our standards say we can refer to incidents that happen in the future to determine a continuation of a trend. In 2024, this house sold.
Mr. Neufeld, you're presenting to us post-reference sale.
And you know what? I don't think this falls in the narrowness of the effective date, but the point is, and you can disregard it, obviously, is that the sale price did not coincide with the assessor's adjustments. It's lower. And that's just an indication that the problem with using adjustments. And again, this one was extensive renovation prior.
We'll put the appropriate weight on this.
Yeah, that's
a 2024 sale.
Yeah, exactly. I'm moving on. I'm not going to talk about the sale.
Yeah.
But the under the public remarks is the work that was done on it, and the picture of the older house prior to renovation and prior to the sale is on the older listing is showing there. So it's oh, that's what I wanted to point out on the third page. $160,000 in improvements in the past 10 years. So this is, and not improvements, of course. I'm sorry, not repairs, improvements. Very distinct difference. The last one, 1326 Wolseley, another of the comparables, and the sale that the assessor had in 2021 under public remarks. I was just trying to add this up. 25,000, 35,000, 10,000, 16,000. That's what they had spent prior to sale on upgrades. So this is what influenced the price change, if there was one, not a concept of market. The values on it, it has a very, very short history in MLS. That's on the second page, only from 2020 to 2021. And so I didn't have a pre-listing date, but the remarks are all there, and it's just to show. I think that this particular market is a fixer-upper. Buy something, do a fixer-upper, and sell it for a profit. That's not called the market. That's called business opportunity based on renovation, investment, and return on investment. And those are the sales, all three of the sales that the assessor used. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Mr. Newfield. Ms. Assessor, questions on the rebuttal?
Yes, I do. So you have just stated the fact that you think that 932, my comparable I used located on Palmerston Avenue is a flipper upper because it was owned by another company.
Well, that's one of the things I always notice here. You know, there's another thing I noticed here. The 2018 sale was an estate sale. So obviously it was at a lower amount. We would never rely on an estate sale, but you see the picture of it, and then that's on the third page. And then on the first page, the new picture of the changes. So there, you know, earlier I was asking you questions about the 5 elements here. Now in this one, it's very clear that the envelope being one of the elements was done. And then reading the remarks, it says no knob and tube. So we definitely had an indication that the mechanical was reviewed. And I don't see anything relating to frame or foundation, but finishing was improved, and they use the word improvements, renovations, not repair.
Okay. And are you aware of the company who owns?
No, whenever I see a numbered company, if I don't know the story behind it, I generally think it's going to be a commercial endeavor. And in this case, we had 3 things happen. They had a sale that went under value for an estate. They had a large investment in it for changes, and then sold by a numbered company. So I'm thinking a pro.
I
Thinking.
see, thank you. No worries. I'm sorry, I don't know when to bring that up. I do have a land title titles to prove that.
You can ask if he's aware of the land title.
Thank you. So are you aware of the land titles that the subject and the comparable to are owned by the same company?
Subject and comparable to?
Yes, the flipper upper.
Well, that makes perfect sense because that's his business. He lives in the subject. I'm not going to dispute that. I told you that's what he's in. He's in painting and decorating is the name of his business. And
Okay, so
but he lives in one and makes money on the other.
okay, and yet he sold that for $825 after fully renovating.
Which one?
The 932 Palmerston.
932. Sorry. That's I didn't put that sale in it because you had it. I thought I had it in there.
That you did. It's the number 2.
932 Palmerston. Yeah, but I'm just looking at the listing. There was, let me just see, your 932 Palmerston, you say sold for 825. You know, I guess that didn't sell on MLS. Okay, but I mean, I don't dispute it. No.
Okay, thank you. I have no more questions. Okay, thank you.
Ms. Werhun, do you have questions on Mr. Neufeld's rebuttal?
I do not, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Purvis?
I have no questions.
Thank you. Nor I. So Ms. Assessor will go to your rebuttal. Just let me give everybody a chance to pull it up.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
The assessor just sent me the land titles document. Is that something that I should distribute to everybody?
I don't think so, Mr. Neufeld.
Okay.
Had no.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Okay, so Mrs. No, that's not the rebuttal. Wrong rebuttal.
Okay, I don't think I've got anything. Oh, wait, something here. Your rebuttal? No, I don't have anything from the assessor for rebuttal. Was there something, or is it just the title document?
I sent Mr. Neufeld.
You should have it. It's just called rebuttal. I don't know what it's called. Mine is called rebuttal dash 932 Palmerston.
Okay, I haven't received an email since 9:30 this morning. But we get, oh, wait a sec, I see what I did wrong. Never, let me just double check here. Yes, I got, oh, I did. Okay. And it's um
Okay.
yeah, I'm just looking at it, like a lot of this just looks like it's the assessor's own case. But I'm not really objecting to it.
Okay.
I don't care. I just, you know,
Okay.
because I think it's just, I mean, like I'm looking at page 6, repairs for water damage. Okay, that's what I said.
Okay, you're right. Okay, we'll allow our assessor to move forward.
So the presentation will be hopefully quick. 39 East Gate. First of all, I did disregard the 5 East Gate, because it was post-reference sale. And yet I would have kind of disregard or paid more caution and attention to 5 East Gate too, if that would be considered. Including the 39 East Gate only because it is a heritage properties, and that meaning that because of the heritage properties, they do have a way more restrictions on maintenance, building, rebuilding, and obviously regulations way more around the heritage properties. So for that reason, I'm very cautious of using the comparable 39 East Gates. However, that did show the comparable 1 and 2 for the same property of 39 East Gate, showing that once the changes or any renovations were done, the value is jumping up between the years. So before it was sold in 2020, the renovations were done, and once again, it was sold for over $1 million.
So I didn't mean, I don't want to interrupt you, but are you following something in print, or are you just making verbal commentary? I just want to make sure I'm following you.
It's in print on.
It's in print on page 1.
Page 1? Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, this isn't rebuttal. That's just your information. I mean, you had a chance to present it already.
That is your comparables. I'm not using my comparables. This is your comparables, which I'm trying to use.
Oh, I see.
Show the.
Sorry, my mistake. So this is what you did, is you put it in your system. I see. Okay.
Go ahead.
So, and just to point it out that Armstrong Point, yes, it is. It's they both Woolsey and Armstrong Points are both desirable and heritage rich neighborhoods. However, the Armstrong Point is way stronger, has more houses with the heritage And they have more restrictions. That time is a small neighborhood and it has more restrictions on the subdivisions. Yet for the Wolseley, it's way more common because first of all, it has more homes and it has R1, R2 zonings. So they have less restrictions for the subdivisions. For the permits you have provided, we call the constructions include repairs of water damage to the basement, main floor, second floor, and the third floor of the existing single family dwelling. I would just quickly bring you to, because it's a long pages, it's a long report. Between the pages of 19 and 30, that is only explanation of all the extensive work was done to this building from the top floor to the bottom floor. And unfortunately, that they explaining the exterior walls, they explaining the interior walls, they using the light fixtures, the outlets, what drywall they were using. So to me, it's a definitely got out and redone. And then on the pages for the that was obviously shown on the plan too, what exactly was done for this property based on the permits you mentioned. And that's the permits we were using as well. Between the pages 9 to the 17, that would be the plans were showing visually what renovations were done. It was the report on the page 6 and 7 from the architect, the engineer who was stating the fact that he confirms that the beam would not be affecting any structural issues because it was removed and we could clearly see that everything was down to the frames. So it is that extensive work was done. The cost of all renovations just specified here were 250,000. And yet, so far, my understanding that would be if it's fully renovated, means got it out and upgraded. And fix it and repairs, it would be just something to restore, replace, modernize. So then I would agree with you, it would be just repairs. That concludes that based on your comparables, based on the extensive renovations done to this property, the comparable 3, which once again is located based on my sheets on Wolseley, that is the same 912 Palmerston Avenue with some renovations. It's actually supports the value of the subject because it wasn't renovated, and yet you use that in your evidence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, questions?
Yes. You said when I so rudely interrupted you about heritage buildings. What's the impact of being a heritage designation on residential property? Are you saying it's negative?
I'm saying it's normally slightly lower price because sometimes people don't want to go into it, understanding that they have so many restrictions, including the regulations on the maintenance of the building. Yes, so I do say it has the huge impact on the value.
And do you have any examples or comparables to demonstrate this?
That's exactly what you have provided, the comparable.
No. You made a statement about the impact on value of a heritage designation. Do you have anything that you can quote?
At the moment, no, because I'm just using that, but yes, I do understand that. I know that this is what.
Have you ever appeared before the Heritage and Conservation Committee in a case involving a property's designation?
No, I didn't.
Have you ever been involved with the construction project on a heritage building?
No, I wasn't, but I was reading about it because I'm on the news with that, yes. So I'm.
Thank you. And this beam that was removed, was this fire damaged?
No, it's not. I don't see the fire damage on it, but it was included in their report within the fire damage, so it was nothing stated, the fact that it was the beam removed due to the fire damage. That was the tricky part about it, but it was all included in
This is
the
a
permit.
this is a window header?
Yeah.
A window header. Okay, so have you ever been involved in a construction project where a window header or a footer has been replaced?
No, but I was building one.
Okay. Yeah, those are my only questions.
Thank you. Mr. Purvis, questions?
I don't have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Werhan.
Neither do I, thank you.
Okay, and nor do I. So I think with that now, we've heard all the evidence with respect to this property, and thank you very much. And now that we've heard all the properties.
I wish to make a brief summation.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Neufeld, please go ahead.
But I'll wait and see if the assessor has anything to say.
Yeah. Brief summation? No. Okay, you're on.
Oh, thank you. So, I mean, primary thing we're looking at is the idea between what's an upgrade, what's a repair. Place had fire and water damage. It's just clear that it's a repair. And if anything was upgraded, it happens during renovation. I mentioned earlier about my last project. It was my own house. We had massive moisture damage. You know what? We had to upgrade our entire envelope because they didn't make this thing we had anymore. We had to put ethos on there and brick. And did I have an upgrade? You know what? It was the only thing I could do to repair the house, to bring it back to standard. So that's not an upgrade. That's called a repair with modern materials. And as far as working on projects, I've appeared before the Conservation Committee and City Council all the way. There's 3 levels of appeal on it. The only impact on historical properties that makes sense is on commercial properties, because right now, if you are a registered company on the stock exchange, you have to follow ISO 9001 standards, which means that you have to have a fire exit system that doesn't have flammable materials. And our conservation committee protects old standards like wooden banisters. And so therefore you can't put a good tenant in a commercial building. That's an impact. As far as in a house, no, I mean, it's a different market, but it's not, it's people who want an old house, fine. If they don't want an old house, build a new house. But it's just a different user, different impact. The cutoff date is World War II. And so all of this was very interesting. I had a lot of fun yapping about stuff that happened in the past, but what I really want to get out of this is just to say, fire and water damage, when you have water damage, it doesn't go away. It's a permanent mark on your record. They will have to declare it anytime they sell the house or market the house or do anything with the house. And if they don't declare it, it's right there in city permits. You can't hide it. It's called a detrimental condition. It's a downer on value. And you know, if we had and that was, I think, the main issue what we're bringing in here. Sorry if this took so long, and I apologize. Half of my lengthiness was because this is a field where I really have to watch how I perform as a certified appraiser and not be misleading and just tell you the facts here and not come to a value that is so finite, because this is not a finite value. For the next however long this property is standing, you will have to go through ongoing evaluation of potential environmental damage. That's life once you've been water damaged. I've got to face it in my own house. And irony of life is that I got burdened with the bad thing. But the thing about it is, if I hadn't had this experience, I wouldn't have spotted the problem in my own house either. There was one other thing. I'm sorry, and I'll just pass on it if I can't remember it. No, I guess that's it. I think we've said our piece.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld. Okay, with that, this hearing is now adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll go get us offline. Thank you.
Sorry, making sure I'm turning my thing.